I'm Gabe, and I'm at the Red Wings versus the Canadiens, and you're watching Post to Post.
Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams, and it's going to be an interesting video because some very important news came out of Seattle yesterday. Today's Tuesday as I'm filming this. If you notice, I'm wearing a jersey and it says Miramichi Panthers on it. If you wait till the end of this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit of story about why I'm wearing this jersey and what it means to me. But getting back to the actual Seattle situation, the city council approved a vote to renovate the current arena there. I think as I said, it was going to cost $600 million, and it's going to be ready by October 2020. This basically guarantees there to be at least some kind of professional sports team in Seattle by 2020, whether that's the NBA or the NHL. It's very much looking like the NHL is going to have a team in Seattle by 2020, and there's a lot of pros that come with that, and there's a lot of cons that come with that. But first, I'm going to talk about the pros. So we have discussed this on the channel before. We have a couple videos, but it's always good to rehash some stuff and to talk about it again because there's new subscribers, there's new people coming in, and it's just a fun conversation to have when it comes to expansion or relocation. So Seattle used to be in the NHL. I believe they were called the Seattle Metropolitans or something like that before my time, admittedly. But it does have its hockey history. It's in a great location to serve as rivalries to maybe some California teams. Vancouver is just basically right next door, up on the border there in Canada. So the pros are definitely there. I think it's really important that Seattle get a team because if things align properly, and we'll get into the con situation, if things align properly in the next 5 years in the NHL, it could be like the perfect setup geographically, I guess you could say. A lot of things have to happen to get us there in the NHL, but I think it's important that Seattle is a part of that almost perfect solution. So Seattle having a team is really great because you have Anaheim, Los Angeles, San Jose, Seattle, and Vancouver all on that Pacific coastline. And I know that Anaheim's a bit more inland than the rest, but basically it's on the coast. It's right next to Los Angeles. So I think it's really important for the Pacific Division, the NHL, to have that extra team on that coast and in that Pacific Division. Now, to the cons, it really complicates things as the NHL is right now. Short term, it's a problem. Long term, I think it's a great solution. But short term, there's an issue with alignment. So currently there's 8 teams in the Pacific. So we've got Los Angeles, San Jose, Anaheim, Arizona, Vegas, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary. And you could argue that Edmonton and Calgary shouldn't be in the Pacific, but they're too far west to be in the Central. It's complicated. So if Seattle hypothetically came into the NHL, they would have to be in the Pacific Division. Boom, that means 9 teams in the Pacific and only 7 in the Central. That's where the issue comes in. You can't really have 9 in the Pacific and only 7 in the Central. It complicates things. So who do you move from the Pacific, hypothetically, if Seattle came in, to the Central? Well, the furthest east team in the Pacific would be Phoenix, or Arizona, but basically. So do you move them to the Central? I think it's your only option, but it's a terrible option. From Anaheim to San Jose is 330 miles as the crow flies. From Anaheim to Phoenix is 335 miles. So Anaheim is basically as close to San Jose as it is to Arizona, or Phoenix, Arizona, whatever. So it's weird to remove. It would be like removing San Jose as far as distance and travel time. It's weird. And if you move Arizona to the Central, then that means the Arizona Coyotes are playing teams more regularly, like the Chicago Blackhawks, who are in the Central. Now Chicago is 1,450 miles as the crow flies away from Arizona. So how does a team that's 1,450 miles away be in the same like those two teams be in the same division. It's madness. It's crazy. And to put that even more into perspective at the geographical problem in the NHL right now, Chicago and Detroit are, I think, 231 miles apart, and they're in completely different conferences, let alone divisions. So, like, Detroit used to be in the West, now they're in the East. Toronto used to be in the West, now they're in the East. It's complicated, and there's a geographical problem in the NHL. So, I think the only option for this to happen is relocation, and I think it only works if Arizona relocates, and that sucks because there's a lot of Arizona fans who really love and enjoy hockey, enjoy their team, and unfortunately the arena doesn't sell out enough. The team isn't successful. It just doesn't look promising, unfortunately. I don't want to see the team move, but I do think it's the best thing for the NHL geographically. So if Seattle gets a team and the Pacific has 9, then Arizona would have to relocate potentially to Seattle or to Houston. Now, hypothetically, if Houston and Seattle gets a team, which it's looking promising, then I don't know if Arizona relocates to Seattle or Houston. I can see more Arizona relocating to Seattle and Houston getting an expansion team probably in 2019 or something like that, maybe the year before. And that means we have 8 in the Pacific, 8 in the Central, 8 in the Atlantic, and 8 in the Metropolitan, which is the ideal situation. 32 teams, mathematically, it works out great. 8 teams from the West make it to the playoffs, 8 teams from the East. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 is half of 32. You get it. So 32 is a great number mathematically, standing-wise, for the NHL. I don't think there should be any more than 32 teams. I'm okay with there being less than 32 teams, as there is right now. There's never been more NHL teams than there are right now. So, but 32 is a great number, and that also leads us over to Quebec, because Quebec really, really wants a team. Quebec City, that is. And Florida is struggling. Carolina is struggling, I guess. So would we see in 10 years a Seattle team, a Houston team, and a Quebec team, Quebec City team, no Arizona Coyotes, and no Florida Panthers, or no Carolina Hurricanes? It can happen. There's going to be a lot of juggling. There's going to be a lot of changing in the NHL in the next 5 to 10 years. But I think long term, it's a great option, because 32 teams, 8 in each division, it's the perfect setup. Now, there's still obviously geographical traveling issues and stuff, but if that were to happen, I believe the NHL would be the best it could be at the moment geographically and standing division-wise. Curious to know your thoughts. I do believe that, like I said, I do believe that hockey in Seattle is a very good thing. I would love to see a team there. I would love to see Vancouver with a real number one rivalry geographically. I think that would be great for the division, great for the Western Conference and the NHL in general, and especially people on the West Coast who are Vancouver fans and maybe don't feel like they have that number one rivalry. There's always going to be a bit of rivalry with Vancouver and Boston, obviously the playoffs, but Boston is literally on the other side of North America, East and West, so the teams only get to see each other, I think, twice a year. So even though that rivalry is there, it's not as bloody as it could be if Boston was Seattle. Seattle and Vancouver could have that magical rivalry that you see in Toronto and Ottawa and Boston and Montreal and Calgary and Edmonton. It could be that great. So I'm excited to hear you guys' thoughts. Do you guys want a team in Seattle? Do you think it'll be ready by 2020? You always hear these construction things. We'll be ready by such and such date, and there's delays and there's costing issues and there's all kinds of problems. Do you think it'll get delayed past 2020 to 2022 because stuff happens, right? So curious to know your guys' thoughts. How do you feel about Seattle getting a team? I know this video was a little messy and a little wishy-washy, but I appreciate your patience with me. So yeah, leave your comments down below. And now on to a little bit of a story time. This jersey is a jersey I've actually worn playing hockey. I used to play for a team called Miramichi Panthers. When I think I was like between the ages of 10 and 15 maybe, and then we changed teams and played competitive and stuff. But yeah, the Miramichi Panthers, and I have both jerseys. I don't know why I still have these, but I do. I don't think I stole them, but I think when the team got disbanded, everyone just kept their jerseys. So here's my home jersey. Home was white back in the day, or when I played, and then we wore these on the road. So home and away. I used to have an A here. It fell off, unfortunately. And I was number 11. So yeah, I found this. I have a whole bunch of old jerseys actually out there. Maybe I'll sneak them in a few videos. So just a little throwback. We used to have the Edmonton Oilers colors, which is completely forgot about actually, but it was cool to find this. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow we're going to talk about whether Guy Boucher is going to get fired. So stick around. It could be interesting. And just a hint, I don't think he should be fired, but we'll discuss it tomorrow. I'm going to film that video next, but I'm not going to release it till tomorrow. So look out for that. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys hitting the like button if you liked it. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video. Adios.